Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another 2024 election update. We've got huge stuff here. It is Monday. We've got the debate coming up in a few days. I think I'm going to do debate previews maybe tomorrow, and then on the 26th with the debate happening on the 27th at 9 o'clock Eastern in Atlanta, Georgia. CNN released a preview, but they haven't released the actual topics. And normally these networks will release the topics right before, maybe a few days before the debate. I do think one of the topics, it'll be interesting if one of the topics actually is January 6th. No, they're not going to do, they're going to make it democracy. And I certainly agree. I think trying to imprison, if you are the president, your political opponent who's way up in the polls, I do think that is a horrible threat to democracy. So I agree with CNN bringing that up. That's very important. But we do have, this is from a few days ago, AOC at a rally saying, "Are you ready to win this country back?" Very strange. The Democrats are already in power. And if she's talking about like socialism or something like that, we've never had socialism. A lot of the top Democrats, the older Democrats, hate socialism. They all game the stock market. They love capitalism. They're all capitalists. They're all multimillionaires. So I'm not sure what AOC is saying, win back the country. You never had the country with communism or socialism. We've also got Jamal Bowman went on an unhinged rant, and then he said, we're not going to stand silent while U.S. tax dollars kills babies. Is Bowman now pro-life? Obviously, he's talking about Israel, Hamas, but I thought that was funny. We're going to go up here. Oh, yeah, so they decided to fact-check this thing on Trump with the neo-Nazis back, the Charlottesville thing, where the neo-Nazis came out. They were peaceful. They weren't doing anything. Antifa comes in, immediately instigates, assaults them. Antifa did it. They were very aggressive because they knew the media would back them against, obviously, you know, some of the neo-Nazis and also some other people there. And Trump was trying to make the distinction, yeah, the neo-Nazis are bad. It's terrible. But there were also other people there that came in because Antifa came in. And Antifa is just horrible. They instigated everything. They caused it. And then the one dude, if you guys remember, the dude's in his car and you've got like 17 Antifa people banging on it trying to kill him. He drives off, kills someone, and then they blame him for it. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not trying to say, you know, they should have marched, but that situation, nothing would have happened. Antifa made it 100 times worse when they came in, and they were very aggressive because they knew they had the moral high ground against the neo-Nazis, and no matter what happened, no matter what they instigated, the media would always back them. Trump didn't do that. He did say, no, the neo-Nazis are bad. I'm not talking about those people. But then he did say, well, there's good people on both sides. And then they used that and they said, well, he's referring to that. And it's all a hive mind, especially in the year, at this point, it was 2017. That was like right when Trump got into office. Wow. Maybe the first summer, the summer of 2017. So they've come out and they've admitted it. This was kind of interesting. So I saw this and it was Jake Tapper and Biden. And I thought it was like a debate preview interview. And I was like, man, they got Biden looking good because Biden was answering these questions. This is from 2016. It's crazy to see the cognitive decline of Biden. If you go like an interview like this, Biden, you know, he's old, sure. And this is like when they were asking him, this was when Trump was president-elect, December of 2016. And they were already asking Biden if he was going to run in 2020. So, I mean, they've had this for a while, it seems like. And obviously he did end up running, but this was 8 years ago at this point. Just goes to show you. We have multi-million. Yeah, so a lot of these multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires, Emma Thompson, I guess an actress. You've got Mark Cuban. They've all got this horrible guilt, and they've got such a God complex when it comes to climate change and global warming. They have to be seen as like saviors. It all got exposed with the Taylor Swift stuff when people started looking into it and saying, well, actually, Taylor Swift emits more CO2 emissions on one private trip with her entourage than any single person does throughout their entire life. Or it might be like 2 or 3 trips. But even if you're traveling on a plane, you're a normie, you're with, you know, 70, 80, 100 different people. It's different than, you know, taking different private flights all around. And so now all these people have this terrible guilt, and they're trying to like show everyone that they care about the climate, but it's all already been exposed. Now, this is a multi-billionaire, so maybe it's a little bit, maybe she doesn't take private jets, but I know Mark Cuban's been upset. He's like, I'm not voting for someone who doesn't believe in climate change. He did that thing with Trump, and no, climate change is real. Global warming is real. It's called global warming, not United States warming. So this whole idea, especially in the West, it's like it's all our fault, the guilt trip. No, China releases more CO2 emissions. Per capita does not matter. It's a raw number. They say, well, per capita, China's lower. Per capita does not matter in this sense. It's a raw number. So per capita is meaningless. China should bring theirs down, and we've already leveled ours off. China's is just going through the roof. If these people actually cared about the climate, they'd be like, China's out of control. We need to bully them into bringing it down. Even the United States, the massive, crazy GDP, the biggest economy in the world and the biggest economy in history, we're able to level ours off, and there's still the guilt trip against the United States when China's is still sky high. Even with China going through the whole zero COVID and the factories shutting down, things like that, I think it's still crazy the last time I saw it. Biden, the top Biden surrogate, Elizabeth, oh my God, I saw this. Elizabeth, honey, sweetie, oh my God. So Elizabeth Warren goes on ABC, I think on Sunday, and she tries to talk about Biden's immigration, and she references January 20th of 2021, Biden's first day in office, when Biden literally ruined the whole immigration policy in the United States when he took away everything Trump. He revoked everything Trump put in when it came to the... And they said that. They said, we're doing this because they viewed Trump's... I'm going to have to start finding the clips. I seriously am. Because people are not going to believe it. Biden said in a debate, we're opening it up. We want more people in the country. He said that, and he got it. And she references the date and says some weird, incoherent stuff where it's like, you know, on January 20th, 2021, Biden, you know, made a policy. No, he took everything away and redid it to make it easier for illegals to potentially enter the country. So she's referencing the date that makes it easier for, and they said that. They said Trump's policies were racist. They were going to totally get rid of them. It was like they were having fun with it. This is not like they did something behind closed doors and it was a tough decision. No, they ran on this. And now they're trying to like distance themselves, and she referenced the exact day where Biden ruins the total policy. She gaslights everyone, says, oh, it's Republicans' fault. No, it's Biden's fault for calling Trump's immigration policy racist. And the numbers, they were showing the numbers, 6.9 million illegals since 2021. Trump had only 2 million. It's an increase times 3, times 4. Now the estimates, you know, when Biden potentially gets out of office, it's going to be around 8 million total illegals versus 2 million under Trump. And you can say, well, you know, COVID helped Trump in terms of stopping immigration. But even if you left the country as is, it would probably only be around 2.5 for Trump. So it's out of control at this point. And you're talking, that is a lot of people entering this country. Let's just say 8 million people enter. And, you know, 3 million of those, I'm not exactly sure how the percentage of them that will become actual citizens. Let's say it's 3 million. How many of those vote? Let's say it's 1.5 million. That is a ton more Democrats. If you're talking about like an 80%, 85%, you know, of them will vote for Democrats because they're the ones letting them into the country. So she references the day that Biden screwed the entire immigration policy. It was the first day of his presidency. I don't understand that. Doug Burgum goes on CNN, shuts down Caitlin Collins' argument that Trump would be a dictator and turned the argument against Biden, mentions Biden's many executive orders. Well, no, Trump's actually had a lot more executive orders than Biden. But I know what he's saying because, so he talks about the student loan. Biden, I do remember this now. The State of the Union says, no, it's horrible. It's totally unconstitutional. You can't bribe kids for votes on the student loan forgiveness. And then Biden said, we're going to work around it. We're going to do something. And of course they have. And Biden, you know, he has signed a ton of executive orders. But the student loan thing is interesting because they said no. And Biden found a workaround, and really the Democrats found a workaround because they know the young people don't vote. You've got to incentivize them. and they've driven up the deficit. They don't care. They just want to stay in power. They really don't, it doesn't matter to them when it comes to everyday Americans. And I would love, well, actually, I don't know what the poll would be like, but you make a poll, how many people actually support giving kids, the debt forgiveness and taking away their student loans. I mean, my argument against that is amazing. These kids are so elitist. They want to act like they make more money than all of us because they get degrees. And then they want to hand out, they want all their stuff paid for. You're the one that tells me you're money bags, you've got all this money, and you want a handout from the government? Wow, you must actually not be doing too well. So they act elitist and like they're rich, and they say, oh, I've got a degree, I make more money, and then they still want a handout from the government. They want to have their cake and eat it too. It makes no sense, and no one really even talks about it. What types of questions do you expect CNN to ask Trump? Yeah, so there's a lot of people coming out about CNN, saying CNN is biased. They've already given Biden the questions. There's been a rumor about that. Well, it is true. Donna Brazile did admit that she gave the questions, the town hall questions to Hillary, and she bragged about it, and then they made her resign for it. So yeah, CNN has a history of doing this with Hillary. Donna Brazile coming out and admitting and saying, I'm sorry, I did do it. It's bad. But she was actually bragging about it. And then they're like, no, you can't do it. You have to resign. And then she resigned. So yes, they probably gave the questions to Biden. Biden is spending 7-8 days preparing for this. It's crazy. Trump's out at rallies doing all this stuff. You do also have this. Bay Bridge shut down for 30 minutes, 0 arrests. I mean, this is a typical Democrat city at night. We've got this. Oh, this liberal, Project Liberal was trying to call out Robert F. Kennedy talking about NATO's expansion. This meme is actually wrong, and I'll explain why. So you can see you've got Russia right here, the flag. NATO keeps expanding in our neighborhood, so NATO expanding from Western Europe to Eastern Europe. Oh no, they're attacking and annexing countries into NATO. Well, no, the countries are asking to join NATO themselves, but why would those countries want to join NATO? And then it's this whole, I gotcha, because Russia, they're insinuating that Russia is this terrible, threat, and none of the Eastern European countries want to join Russia because they're the bad guys, they're the villain. No, the only reason all of these countries are joining NATO is because the United States is in NATO. That's it. The United States is 10 times more powerful than every other military. So the idea that you would insinuate the countries right next to Russia wouldn't want to join Russia. Why would you want to be part of any Russian agreement when you could join NATO and it's 100 times more powerful and it has the world's most powerful military? So see how they create these false narratives? I'm not trying to defend Russia. I'm saying this is a false thing. All these countries in Eastern Europe that want to join NATO, it's not because oh my God, they're so threatened by Russia. They want to be, kind of slaves to the United States in the form of, if we get attacked, we're going to have the USA to support us. And obviously all of the major countries in Europe as well. So this is false. Even if you're right next to Russia, and obviously this is kind of a, because of Ukraine, but let's just say it's a peaceful, you have a border with Russia, I would still rather join NATO because NATO is 10 times more powerful. NATO is way more powerful. This does not have anything to do with, oh, it's Russia. They've been so horrible, nobody wants to join them. Why would you join any type of military agreement with Russia when you could join a military agreement that has 100 times more force like NATO? So all of these Eastern European countries, they're trying to latch on, like little fish when they go up, like bottom feeders, they latch onto the big whales and they suck off all the little plankton and everything like that. That's what these Eastern European countries are doing, and this is a false meme, and people fell for it. It's sad. The latest Arizona, oh, this is big. Arizona voter registration, massive shift for Republicans. They now lead the Democrats by, wow, 250,000 votes. That is 132K more than in 2020. So remember, in 2020, I guess they're insinuating that Republicans did have an advantage in terms of voter registration. They barely lost by 0.1. Remember, Arizona was the state that Fox called early. People were pissed. It was very close. But now you've got this lead. even with all the crap with the abortion stuff, it's looking like, based just off of this, I know people are saying Arizona's going to be really close, and maybe it will be, but it does seem like this is very good news for Trump for sure. Oh yeah, AOC. See, this is the thing with AOC and all these far-left liberals. They feel like they need to shoplift bread or go hungry that night. So that's the argument they make when you've got all these people shoplifting, ransacking jewelry stores, and 99% of the time, it's just not true, and they know it's not true. These people are stealing jewelry, they're going to sell it on Amazon, they're going to buy drugs. That's what's going on here. Again, and they know that, but they have to try and pander and excuse all of the shoplifting and say, well, they need to do it to feed themselves. I mean, you've got these people coming in with bags, like shoveling Rolex watches. It's like, yeah, they're going to feed themselves. What do they want? Like a fucking, $2 million McDonald's gift card. You know what? I think that's what they're going to get. They're going to get all the Rolex watches. They're going to go purchase a big McDonald's gift card, and they're going to feed the neighborhood for 4 years. That's what's happening here. Come on, guys. And then you've got people talking about the CNN debate. Look, I understand people are wary of CNN, but they are trying to give Trump an excuse. But it is true. I mean, CNN, they've been really biased. Donna Brazile admitted, yeah, I mean, I gave Hillary the question. So they're probably going to give Biden the questions. It is what it is. The big issue is muting of mics. They're going to be doing that. And one of the topics, I said at the beginning of the video, sarcastically, one of the topics is going to be democracy. That's not sarcastic, excuse me. One of the topics I guarantee will be democracy, or I'd be shocked if it wasn't. And of course, they'll bring up January 6th. They're not going to talk about Biden trying to, send Trump to prison for something that even leftists have admitted is crazy. Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of the state that gave Trump 34 felony charges, comes out and says, this is ridiculous. It's horrible. I highly doubt they're going to talk about that, or Trump's going to have to bring it up. And if Trump has any advisors worth a damn, they need to be telling him, because this is technically true, Biden has the lowest approval rating in U.S. presidential history. You've got to say that, because a lot of these normies actually don't know it, but it's true. You need to say that. That's a great sucker punch for a debate, and it is true. Democrats running TV ads in Pennsylvania telling Republicans that Trump doesn't want them to vote early. Well, if this is true, then it is election interference. We remember the meme back in 2016, the voter being funny, saying, you don't have to vote or something, and he gets like jail time for it. And now you've got Democrats sponsoring this stuff, millions of dollars of ads being poured in Pennsylvania. Trump's come out over the past year and a half and embraced the mail-in voting, the early voting, saying we need to do it because they're doing it and it makes sense. There could be problems on election day. You can't get to the polls. I'm not saying the early voting is necessarily good, but based on where we're at now with everyone wanting everything to be convenient, a lot of these people on election day, they just don't want to go to the polls. You can do it early. You can do it by mail. Trump's embraced it, and now they're lying, and they're saying that Trump doesn't want them to vote early. If this is true. I mean, I'm just reading this tweet, so we'll see. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.